Well, Ancient went more than just the distance, all the way to overtime, and potentially there could have been a double overtime if someone had just held down that defuse a little bit longer. No names being pointed out on that one, a bit of an error, bit of a mistake. Let's start from the beginning of this game though, right? It looking really good for Enterprise. You think it's their map pick, they start just smashing them around pretty much. And then we see a bit more come out of the side of the Hungarian team. They actually do show that they can play this a bit. They were fighting, they were active on the individual level, but it quickly became a game where it was theirs to lose, even though we didn't really know what we'd see from them when it came to this Ancient pick.
Yeah.
Enterprise had no business winning that map, but luckily Budapest 5 or Hungarian mix, they did everything they possibly could do to lose this game.
Yeah.
And they lost it. And usually you get punished by losing like that in the second map. You get punished on the third map, and then you go back like 3 months later. Oh, if you actually you remember that round when 14-10 we were supposed to do that, and then you just start imagining how it would be to play the big event, and
Yeah, one of the most glaring rounds, I guess, is the one where they just kind of forgot to plant the bomb. There's a guy who apparently wants to push the long side of the cube on the B bomb site. He just throws his bomb away, goes with his Molotov in his hand, pushing there, gets killed, and then when they eventually try to plant the bomb, the CTs just mow them down before they even get it planted.
The thing is, you can clearly see it's not their map.
No, not checking corners.
It's not even Enterprise's map, let alone it's the Hungarian mix. It was a disaster for them, but they still had it, right? 14-10, sorry. They still had it and just dropped it with the ridiculous post plans like that. Let's see if they get punished. That's what I want to see on Mirage.
Yeah, it's going to be down to their mental strength now, right? Coming into Mirage at the same time, because individually they seem very fired up, right? The hitting the shots. Yeah. It's just you could clearly see multiple times they weren't comfortable on that map. They weren't understanding where they're supposed to
move. Disorganized, mistimings, not trading. It's the spacing, pathing, everything was off because of the map. But they were still sharp. They were still hitting shots, and at the end,
Also, good signs for Enterprise, the fact that we finally saw some Forsey highlights. He had an ace.
You mentioned him.
Yeah, on overtime, he had a massive ace to start the game. I think he had the first 6 kills of the overtime, to be honest with you, which is not too shabby, is it? Going into a map like Mirage with an Opera can definitely do a lot of plays, that might be a scary prospect. Also, I'm a little bit worried for the Hungarian boys, just for the fact that their T-side was so lackluster. So if they have to start on the T-side, we're going to have to see much more from them.
They did play Mirage on this event once. So that maybe
helps.
Helps a lot.
Yeah.
If they actually review the game and maybe learn something from it, like this on this T-side, the flashes are not good. Maybe the timings are not proper, whatever. And then coming into the second Mirage of the game, maybe it can be better. On top of that, they have a good CT side, which they can rely on, If they start off well, they can just finish the job right there. I still think they're better, team.
Yeah, even if there was a lot of gamble stacks in that first Mirage for them.
Educated guesses.
Yeah, very educated, yes.
We're still cheering for Hungary. Yeah, right, let's go.
We're just against Hawker, right?
Yeah, just because of that.
It's purely the whole reason.
No. I don't even know anybody from the Hungarian team. I'm cheering against him.
All on Hawker for this one. But I will say, right, at least the positives of them going into Mirage is, okay, we should see some at least firepower come out from them. We should see the individuals be able to flourish on a map like this for sure. But it is going to come down to how they handle that kind of a loss when they knew they had this 2-0 in the bag, right? Because this is still a team where experience is still lacking.
Yeah, no, for sure. The mental fortitude is a big part, and it's especially when it comes down to, again, if it's there's a blunder in a 3-on-2 man advantage after plan situation, you can easily deflate a team like that. So, yeah, we can. There's definitely still some potential hiccups there.
Can praise the use of the timeouts though throughout the Ancient game, right? Coach definitely chiming in. They were looking to adapt and change things wherever they could possible.
Yeah, maybe they should have 8 more timeouts to actually beat around, right? On the T side, it's they didn't really help much, did it? But yeah, I'd say they used it. I'm sorry, they used it. It's so good.
Oh, Kassan. Do you want to just be there, spur him on, give him some tips on it?
It's when you drop a game like this, like I said, you usually get punished for it, And I wouldn't be surprised, and it wouldn't be the greatest surprise if Enterprise actually demolished them on this one. But like I said, like we said, actually, they had a Mirage game, so that's a positive thing, and they are sharper team, definitely, so a couple of advantages for them. The only thing coming in for Enterprise is they have the momentum now. Okay, we brought it back from 14-10, let's go, you know, and then that can carry them away in the third map.
Well, let's find out what our commentators think of this one. Let's get ourselves closer towards this game. Dinko and Hawker, it's time for you to shine once again. You've got a 3 mapper to see how this one's going to go down. And Hawker, how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling all right about this. I'm not sure if the desk is actually the Hungary fan club or just the Hawker hate club at this point. It's one of the two, but hey, I'm feeling good about Enterprise here. Even though we've seen Hungary play Mirage already, they won like no T rounds against Fiend.
Yeah, it's not looking too fantastic. I think Hungary coming into this, my predictions looking good, Hawkeye. I'm feeling them. I'm feeling the Hungary side coming in to Mirage. I think
you feeling hungry?
Yeah, I'm feeling hungry. That's why I head out to the food truck. This time I've actually brought myself some extra food, so I can't be teased by James a little bit later on today. But I'm hopping into this final game, Hawkeye. I'm feeling good about it. I think it's going to be a great game of Counter-Strike nonetheless. Both teams have shown they're quite equally matched. Towards there, at the end there in Ancient, no denying there was a lot of mistakes, certainly, but it provided some entertainment. It provided some exciting close rounds.
Yeah, definitely will be important to see which side both teams start on here. If we get that Hungary start on the T side, we'll have to keep an eye on how many rounds they can get.
I also knew it would be you, Hawker, the first person in this country that would make that joke, the Hungary joke.
Oh, yeah.
It had to be. It just had to be you coming into it. But we're coming into play, and I think we can start talking specifics of players as well. Players to look out for the viewers at home that coming into this one. For the Hungary side, you know, we're looking at Fleeve in particular. I think he's the clear star of the side. And then Corey, fantastic performance here in Ancient.
Yeah, he played really well. A lot of aggressive angles he was taking. He was constantly looking for fights up that B ramp, for example. And that was Team Hungary taking the 9th round, I believe. So they will get that CT start, which is what was so strong for them against Fiend in that win. They won almost all their rounds on the CT side in that one. A lot of people were writing them off after they had a poor first half against Fiend, but they came back with the CT side Mirage play. See if they can do it again. Now this time starting on that side.
V4 Future Sports Festival winners matchup gets off with a bye here with a final map. We head into Mirage. One of these teams are going to be going through to the main event. The other will have to battle on another day to try and get through. This is the winners matchup. Both of these teams securing best of 1 victories yesterday. We made the joke earlier today that today felt like the loser games, Hawker. This should be the loser matchups. But in fact, both of these teams have surprised and got to this point in the competition. We'll find out which team will be making their way through to the main event at the end of Mirage. They're getting going now with a pistol. Matthias first to play deep into middle, but the first kill will go Mattis' way. Now they're trying to get through the window. 2 kills coming in from Mattis on his Glock, and Corey's got 1 here for Hungary.
They were hearing that jump into window the entire time, so they reacted accordingly, but it's still Enterprise who have the man advantage, and they have a player sneaking into this B bomb site. Mangus looking to see if he can just breach this bomb site entirely, or maybe just sell the fake, because the bomb isn't committing with him. He's just looking to take the attention away from A.
Man advantage for Enterprise can go a long way because they have so much control locked in. These rotations back to A are going to be so difficult because the CTs are fighting on B right now. And the bomb's going through Palace. It's about to drop its way down into the A site. And once they realize, well, there's no one here, they'll be very happy about that. Bomb plant will come through. Aaron will deal with the B threat, but the real threat is A. It's always a little fake threat over towards the other side of the map. And the bomb will go down. Looking good right now for Enterprise to try and take their first on the board. Alive inside of Connector, 4C at Sandwich. It's hard to see even with the kit how they get through the setup because they've had so much time to get into solid post plants.
And the bomb's planted so open too. Alive could see it from Connector if he wanted to. He's going to hear the steps around. They know exactly where this is coming from.
And Alive is going to play inside of top Connector. They've crossed on by his crosshair, and Alive waiting so patiently for his kill. That's Enterprise with the pistol. Off to a good start here on the T side. Enterprise were able to go up 5 rounds in a row on Ancient down that pick. The same can be said for Team Hungary over on Nuke. Both teams have had very solid starts winning the gun rounds, the pistols, and converting them. Hasn't been that second round clownery, right? We haven't seen any crazy force buy wins yet. We'll see if that is the case coming in here for the Hungary side. Will they be able to bounce back with a force buy of their own?
Really solid play across the map from Enterprise, and that is where you'd expect them to have the advantage, considering they are up against the mixed team here. They also are the team with the highest trade percent at the tournament so far, so that's definitely a good sign for them, and that's a good sign at the start of this round too. Forsey getting a nice opener with the AK.
Yeah, fantastic start for Enterprise. In this round, like I said, it's all about trying to convert the pistol win, just trying to keep the money good, get the fundamentals going early on. You don't want to lose this round and have yourself splitting the scoreline 1-1 and throwing that good start that you had out the window. CT side have invested a lot into this one. You'll often see it in these kind of rounds, the CTs will gamble stack or stack one bomb site. In this round, much more spread out, and because of that, more diluted in their defense attempt. Aaron will get one. Fleet will assassinate Diaz and erase him for the round itself, but Forsey erasing any chances, really, of Hungary winning this 4-spy round, as there's just one player left alone. It's Corey thinking about a 1 versus 3. He has been spotted immediately. Chunked down low. Mingus will close it out with a kill, and it's 2-0 for the Enterprise side, Hawker.
No ace for Forsey this time. Though,
yeah, no ace for him. I actually, an interesting note for everybody at home. You know, while I was getting some food there in the food cabin, I did see that Gambit have arrived. Movistar Riders came in just as I was leaving as well. So we have got some of the better sides now arriving in Budapest, ready to go for the main event in just a few days' time. And for everybody at home that is wondering what this matchup is, one of these teams is going to join those teams in the main event, Hawk, at the end of this best of 3. At the end of this map, in fact.
Yeah, at the end of this map, we're into the decider. Touching back on the team play for Enterprise, as this round is a foregone conclusion. They've got that B site, they've got this round win guaranteed against the Pistols. Enterprise having the highest trade percentage in this tournament is also relevant because Hungary, despite winning that opening game, actually had the lowest trade percentage out of any team after the best of ones. So maybe it goes to show, as the desk was pointing out, that this Team Hungary side have been relying on skill a lot, and they maybe have the chance to try and outskill their opponents. It's not started well for them, though. This round going about as you would expect, as they left that B site open. They will all go down at the end. 3-0 start for Enterprise, but out come the guns for Team Hungary. And the AWP for Fleet.
Now, the problem has been for every team that has lost a pistol have been incapable of winning the first gun round. So we'll see if they are able to pick it up here, Team Hungary, and turn away the curse. For Enterprise, is a bit of a bonus, you know, keeping the MAC-10 and the MP9 into this round. You're just trying to get as much money out of the early game as you can. But the rest of them have an AWP and 2 AK, so certainly a good enough buy to play with here as they enter this round. CT side going for the 2-1 setup, 2 towards B. You'll see that 3 of the players are actually focusing on mid from short, connector, and window. And Enterprise, you can have a little bit of an issue trying to deal with that. You see, had already used the PC utility to deal with that Molotov that was thrown in towards those top boxes. So a little bit of a slower take of mid so far, Hawker.
Smoke goes back down into connector. A lot of teams will like to use that on the CT side to keep control and to try and find some more favorable angles. That's exactly what Fleeve is doing here. He doesn't have to worry down below. He can just look up above. Enterprise don't want to challenge him too soon in the round. Mangus waiting. Corey flashed into mid. Good timing on that to get the kill onto Forsey. Hungary taking a small piece of initiative on the flash towards mid to get themselves the advantage. And now they're just playing standard across the map. They've got 2 players ready to defend A. Aaron can't really work with his teammate that well here, though. And
the T's are going to go for a 2-2 split, 2 through Palace and Connector, trying to A-split this site. Fleeve is going to hold down in towards Connector and needs to drop that ult back. Aaron up on top of the wood. Here comes the peek around the corner. Aaron at the ready, but gets taken down. MP9 cracking open the initial defense. The M4A Wadette stands no chance. And they're not playing in front of the smokes here. They're playing much more defensively on the CT side. And Corey luckily getting that kill back, but it's short-lived. Equilibrium is short-lived entirely as Max just pushes through CT. They get the info on the AWPer, but it's the play from Connector that stops the bomb from even going down. So Team Hungary able to recover towards the end, but Dito is the player to get those impact frags.
It looked like when Aaron went down early, that was going to be a real issue because, as we pointed out, it was hard for them to work together. And Fleeve was left in a position where he had to be worried about Palace. He had to sit back passively. But he did a good job at surviving. And it was really the rotate that made the difference there as they come through with the Dito winning the round for Team Hungary. Those B players get involved in time. First gun round going the way of the CT side. And this is where we expect Team Hungary to be at their best on this CT side of Mirage. So good for them to get that round win. We've got a double AWP setup here on the T side for Enterprise. I assume they'll be playing for picks in this round then. Oh no, the run boost.
Oh, Corey deals with it. And the run boost behind the boxes. Don't think Alive really got to the position that was intended in time. And so we slowed on his transfer over. Oh, look at that from Adias though. Confident play, realizing we need to make a change here. We need to pull this kill back. We need some map control back. So he pushes through the ramp smoke out towards Tetris, gets the right timing. But Corey comes back in for the follow-up. Some good early signs from Corey. Again, we were talking about how he was having impact on Ancient. We'd love to see that out of him again. He's getting those important kills here. He's keeping them afloat. Right now, Team Hungary hold that man advantage, but the bomb is about to walk its way into B. Right now, the setup over there involves Coolio. That is about it. They do have Aaron that can help out quickly from ladder room, but he's on 10 HP, Hawker, so Coolio has a lot of pressure on his shoulders right now as the anchor of this B side.
33 seconds, and Coolio has a nice advanced angle to try and spot those players early if they come his way, but Mangus is also making noise elsewhere. Molly finally coming into B, and the bombs should be at the ready, but the rotate is already arriving for the CTs.
Aaron's holding down the gap. He's looked away, so Coolio's going to have to pick up that information. Aaron knows there's a player down in middle, so
low time.
2 players up in the apartments. They've either got to go or save, and because of the time, Hawker, they're just calling the round off entirely. They're going to cancel the attempt and hope their chances come in a later round, because this is an absolute fumble. It's like they just lost track of what was happening. Enterprise at least will have rifles into the next round, but not really going for anything in this one.
They never made that proactive play towards B that would have been required for them to have a chance in that round. Mangus was attempting to sell that fake in through connector, but they don't make any progress onto the B-bomb site. Team Hungary getting some good success, and you can see Enterprise, well, already losing the first player in this round. They had a couple of weapons. They've already lost that one of those 2 AWPs.
Yeah, Matt is down. Flea's going to take some map control, pushes in towards top mid. Alive is currently on this left side with the Tech 9. He's waiting for his teammates to come over because they knew a 4C could peek over the top of the angle, and Flea would be overwhelmed. And now we're at a 4 versus 4. The T side have mid control now, Hawker.
Corey staying in connector though, wanting to see if he can just stick around and get a kill. Oh, he goes for the fight, but Mangus was waiting for him. So Enterprise getting some good mid control in this round, but they have to show us that ability to hit one of these bomb sites. And here's the response from Team Hungary. They decide to play for information, going a man down. Aaron's pushed all the way into A ramp. The rotate is coming in towards mid.
Coolio's going to go towards jungle. The top of Diaz at the ready with the deagle in hand. Couple rifles in behind him as Coolio just holds on. Waits for the explosion to come through connector. 35 seconds. Here comes the smoke off the angle. And Coolio, he's trying to find a gap. He's trying to find some weakness in that smoke. And there just isn't one really there for him to play with. He's got to just hide in behind it and respect it. With 23 seconds again, Enterprise have run down the clock. They could push that jungle smoke and deny the plant, but they didn't feel comfortable doing that. Already man down, and things are looking quite rough. Another kill for the T side. 4C does damage onto the second, but not enough for the kill. And now Aaron starting to come out of Palaces to play. He needs to do a lot of the heavy lifting. He's actually able to help out. A second kill comes in, and now it's a 1 versus 1. Mangus is towards ramp, and Aaron has the right read. He started to swing towards it. Where's the bomb planted? It's planted in the open, and Aaron, okay, that's an attempt. Over the top, jumps into the open, and a little chuckle from the Hungary side because they know they've just got away with murder.
Aaron's generally been pretty consistent throughout this series at having impact when his team needs him to step up in some of these scenarios. That one was the most stylish of the bunch, though, jumping onto the bomb site to win the clutch for his team. This is exactly what we were expecting out of Team Hungary, just coming through with a strong start here on their CT side. This was a round where Enterprise had the advantage, but Aaron sneaking out through Palace, strikes back. There's that smile at the end there. Team Hungary having a good time now, despite losing the initial pistol round. They've bounced right back, and they should be able to take the lead here up against the half buy.
Adias around the edge of the ramp smoke with a Tech 9. Playing proactive in these kind of rounds can sometimes catch you out, but Aaron has mid to play forward. Which he's going to send Adias a little further back. Aaron just making his mark all over the A site, marking his territory in these close-up positions. A re-smoke comes in from his teammates out towards ramp. Buy some time for him to get a little bit more of a passive setup going through, starting to worry more about middle as the time ticks on and this clock begins to drain. You can see why, as Enterprise have been given mid to play with, and they will happily take that map control.
Gives them a lot of options.
Oh no.
The CT's fighting back though. They decide to peek into the B apartments, realizing that mid was gone. They take control elsewhere instead. Now even with that smoke being plopped down, splitting B won't be easy because the CTs are pushed into apps. That's a pretty strong angle to watch towards short from.
They've slipped their way through the ramp itself, and they're dueling out with Forzi, who is playing Underwood, and they've lost that kill. Coolio coming into Adias, and Bonito up at the apartments brings down Mattis out of the round. Everybody goes down here for Enterprise. And no one really fights back, but we go into the 4-3 scoreline. That means Enterprise will get the money back out. AWP for 4C, AK-47s. What have Enterprise got to do now, Hawker?
It's tough to say exactly what has been a huge issue for them so far. It's been obviously a good streak for Hungary. I think for Enterprise, they will maybe just be thinking about just a site take earlier in one of these rounds at some point. So far, they are going to go back to the mid control, which has been working okay for them in general, and it's going to work again. 4C with that AWP, winning the fight against his opposite sniper. That gives Enterprise a great opportunity to bounce back.
Going to bring the bomb back over towards Palace as well. Adias will take out Aaron. Now they look towards the site itself for the execute. Just going to start bringing Corey back over to play from jungle. Smoke's going to go out to Palace, hoping that he can isolate the fight and focus more in on just one position, and that's ramp. And he will have to focus on that position because here comes the rest of the play on through, and they've just lost Corey in the round. Magnus comes up through connector. When you're in that situation alone as a CT, you've got to worry about so many different angles, and there's not enough support, not a support network at all, as Hungary will topple. And Enterprise starting to get going here, Hawker.
And getting that early pick really helps them pull apart the rest of the round. Spreads the defense more thinly. One player on A decides to try and make it aggressive play to get back into it. Enterprise from there were always in good stead to win that one. See Team Hungary holding themselves up to high standards here on this CT side of Mirage. They've taken that timeout early.
Yeah, they used up a lot of them over on Ancient quite quickly. I think they used them every time they were ahead, and Enterprise went around, they would always pull a timeout out. They definitely want to have their coach have a say coming into play. Did kind of cost them at times, I think, towards the end, because they definitely look better when they come out of the timeouts. But when they came into that later stage gameplay, he didn't have as many timeouts available. I think that kind of cost them when they got into the close games. But we get back into the action. 4-4 scoreline. Bye for both teams, but you look at the CT side economy for Team Hungary. If they lose this round, they're not going to be buying for a little while. And they've lost a player already.
Yeah, AWP's out, but it's not the AWP to get the opening kill. He'll get the second one, though. 4C winning another fight against Fleeve. Those AWPers going head-to-head in a couple of rounds back-to-back now. And with the position that Hungary find themselves in, they have to make a risky play. They have to take some information. So Aaron's pushing through the ramp, but he's being watched. Oh no, they just looked away. So Aaron's pushed all the way through, and now they know this is likely a B play. They actually have a chance to try and maybe put up some resistance as the rotate is going to arrive.
Yeah, it depends how quick they went, but of course that rotate's been allowed through into market. So now they do have enough defensive players here to mount a defense entirely, and the flank as well starting to come through from the FAMAS. There's a timer on the play now for Enterprise. They can't molly out Coolio, who's trying to play with his own smoke, and Aaron's been found. They watch for the flank in the backside, and that might just tell them to run away, run around the backside, and Coolio hunting them down, pushing forward into the apartments. But both players now on the CT side are inside of the apartments. On the B side, they have no shot at getting back into this if Enterprise quickly go to A. But they sent a bomb back into mid, and Coolio's playing towards short. Unfortunately, he has to take him out, and he will. Finds the headshot. Corey now left in a 1 versus 4. 30 seconds left. And for Enterprise, now they can just look towards the site with a bomb in their back. It looked good. It looked like they had everything go their way there on the CT side. But that's what happens when you watch the flank and the flank doesn't pay off.
That's the thing. They're in a 3v5 to begin with, so even when the play goes perfectly, it can still fall apart. Forsey, though, has had a really, really good start here on Mirage, winning a lot of early fights, but also having the presence of mind there to watch for the flank. Initially, he was watching towards underpass because he thought that the mid-aggression was the most likely flank. Now this AWP may not be saved because Corey hasn't realized. Alive has snuck up on him, takes a quick headshot, gets that AWP out of there, gives Enterprise the lead. And with Team Hungary's money, that lead should be extended.
Starting to feel a little bit better about your prediction now?
Feeling good. I was always feeling good.
You're always feeling good. Never a doubt in your mind. Even during that defuse on Ancient? Never a doubt. Let's go shoes
All
off.
according to plan.
Take your shoes off in your gaming. Do you take your shoes off in your gaming, Hawkey? Do you wear shoes in the house?
I haven't even thought about that. I guess I don't.
I just
game
don't wear
with
shoes in the house.
Yeah, you don't really wear shoes in the house.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. A lot
My
of
mum would
players...
give me a slap if I wore shoes in the house. They'd probably be dirty.
Yeah. Dirty shoes. Got some good shoes now, though, Hawkey. Maybe have to show the world some of them.
Stepped up in the wild, man.
Collection to marvel at, but here we are. USP's out and play for the CT side. Not a lot to talk about in this one. In terms of Enterprise, though, they really are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable on this T side. You know, even in some of these mid-round situations, haven't really been making the wrong call too often. Has been a few rounds where they've maybe ran out of time, maybe a little miscalculated, but for the most part, Enterprise have looked better here. And for Hungary, that element that they had on Nuke, which was the explosive Fleeve, just doesn't really seem to be there in the same full force, Hawker.
Team Hungary doing the conga in this round.
Yeah.
Oh, Bedito gets another kill up above. Not bad with the USP.
And just Aaron. Goodbye, Aaron.
I feel like the conga must be timeless, right? Like, I'm sure kids still do the conga at parties.
Time to do
I don't
the
know.
conga.
Yeah, like that's got to be something that still goes on. Or at weddings, stuff like that.
Yeah, do you know wedding after parties or something? Yeah, and it's just like everybody just... maybe not nowadays with the COVID restrictions, but...
The conga helps us
The
transfer through generations.
The socially distanced conga now.
Oh, God.
That's my kind of conga. It's as far distance as I can be from the conga. That's where I'm happy. But here we are. 6-4. Enterprise now have a bye on the other side of things. Team Hungary will post some resistance. They didn't have much of a fight in the last round, but this time they've got guns. They don't have an AWP, though. It is the rifles.
Big control being fought for here by Team Hungary. They put 3 players here early, using utility even to try and dissuade Enterprise from making this play. It's a very active round across the map here for Hungary. After putting 3 mid initially, now they've put 3 over towards A, and they're going aggressive on A again. Team Hungary just keep getting this info in towards ramp. Corey really likes to go aggressive. We've seen it time after time, and it may pay off for him here.
Adias is crouching towards him, but Corey is elevated looking over his surfs, but still a chance for a revolution here below him. A minute left as they now take some mid-control, charging forward. That'll be the Molotov out to window. Of course, he dives down and looks up connector alongside a Mattis. Looks to peer his way through. A bit of map control established here for Enterprise. There isn't really an option to go for a split, though, so they are going to have to force their way through the connector and focus on some of the CT fights. And Corey, he feels comfortable focusing in on connector. He gets one, but his teammate Aaron has gone down, so now Corey is exactly in the same position he was once in, which is having to focus on so many different angles all at once. He's standing on default, and they know he's there, so that means Fleeve has to do a lot of the heavy lifting. He's playing from sandwich at the moment. And here comes the utility, the Molotov clearing out default. Adia starting to enter back in from Palace, has spotted the barrel of Fleeve, and all the shots preemptive, and Fleeve is lucky to get away with it because the bomb's now down. 13 seconds left to try and pick it up. They've got to get the bomb immediately, and Coolio's in a good position to try and deny the plan. In fact, Bedito is the player that stops the recovery mission for the bomb. And these rounds, man, they're running the clock down, Hawker, and it's cost him in this one.
That was the issue with the split the whole time. They only had one player in Palace with the bomb, so it couldn't really be a proper split of the site, because that Palace player has to be very careful, because you see there, as soon as he goes down, that bomb is so far away. As you pointed out, little time remaining on the clock makes it really difficult for anyone to get that bomb back. That ended up being the most important fight of the round. Team Hungary going back to aggression, but that peek from Fleeve has not been successful so far. He peeks top con again, but the boost from Enterprise was in position. They just hold the line, hit their shot, and get another man advantage. They've been good at finding these picks.
And good at losing them as well, as Corey comes in with a follow-up, trades it out 4v4, and Aaron will give it
keep
away.
Pushing that.
Yep.
I think you can see they've figured that out now.
Very aware of some re-aggression coming through that. And Corey now sitting up on top of the T-stacks. It'll be one for a Diaz coming through. Coolio trades it out. 2 versus 3 advantage, still siding with the Enterprise side as they look to try and get in towards the bomb site. But the CTs have rotated to the right side of the map now. Try and play together as the bomb commits towards CT, and it is now dropped in the open. Forsey has to win this round alone in the 1 versus 2 as he goes to the bomb plant. He'll start to punch those digits in, and we'll begin to look for his victims. Sonic got a volley for this. He's going towards CT spawn. Right now, Pedito has gone in towards jungle. Forsey now jumps up on top of Ticket. He's desperately looking for that 1v1 fight. He wants to turn it into a far more comfortable situation. Coolio has spent his time rotating fully around ramp, and I don't think Forsey even is aware of this possibility. They're going to double push into him. The timing was nearly off there, but Coolio luckily hits the headshot. Retake is successful. Team Hungary with another round.
It's looking so good for Enterprise too. They get that early kill at the start of the round. They move over towards A as a team. They get an early kill onto the site, but then as they actually go for the proper site control in the 3v2 scenario, Enterprise aren't really working together as much as you would like. The spacing was pretty far apart. The bomb was so far forwards. It got caught out by that one player who was rotated over to stairs. There was no chance for any trade, and Forsey tried his best in the clutch, but apparently he's no Oscar. Shout out Oscar. Great in the clutch.
We'll see him play tomorrow in V4 Future Sports Festival. We're going to try and continue the wins for Sinners. They did go down to the lower bracket yesterday, but here is the winners matchup. First kills have come through Aaron with Mattis down. And Corey already found early in the round. We have had a lot of these 1-for-1 trades at the beginning of each and every round, Hawker. It's been a brutal start to each round itself.
And off the back of those trades, Enterprise have liked to group up, and they may do that again, just walking out through Palace. This would be ballsy, but I don't know if anyone's really watching this right now.
And here comes Alive. He spotted the arm. It's often a nullifying call for Aaron to play if they come out of Tetris, but check from the Palace peak and the Palace walkout, and the T's are getting all of the kills here. Enterprise looking to put themselves up on 7. For Team Hungary, it's getting quite disappointing now. I think a lot of the kills they've been losing shouldn't really be happening. There's no protocol as a team that... I think the fact that the CTs are constantly losing an early player is never helping their matters.
Especially on Mirage, there are a lot of different angles and a lot of different choke points to get into bomb sites. Especially if you lose mid control, then you have connector, ramp, and Palace to be aware of. Just a lot of different angles that you have to be concerned about, and so one of them may have to go unwatched. In this scenario, the walk out through Palace was the perfect call. We heard the desk say they were expecting to see Team Hungary shine on this CT side, while Enterprise are giving them a good run for their money right now, taking a 7-6 lead and looking good in the process. I was thinking earlier, you know, with how CS players are always weird with their names and how they're pronounced, like Zipex and Zipnix. Yeah. I was wondering if Aaron was actually called like Aaron or something weird like that, just to try and mess with us.
You have a lot of time in your hands, Hulk.
I do. You really do about these things.
Yeah, I would say that would be pretty weird. But you know, you never know with CS players; they are weird. As I thought your sentence was going to end at.
just say that.
You know what I was saying about earlier, Hulk? CS players, they're weird.
They're weird.
There we go. That's
weird
the end
guys.
of the point. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong a lot of the time.
I think 5 years from now, I'm going to come out and tell everyone that my name isn't pronounced Hawker. It's actually pronounced Hovka.
Hovka?
As the Russians always call me in matchmaking.
Really?
Yeah, and that's normally followed up by some bad words and telling me to hold my sight better.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe that's not what they always call you. But yeah, we stopped playing with randoms a long time ago, didn't we? It's not a fun experience. We did have that one, like, quadruple overtime game where...
Oh god, don't get me started.
Yeah, we'll not talk about that. That was too hard to bring up again. But it's a B rush for Enterprise in towards the B side of Mirage, but Dito is in a good position to try and deal with it. He's flashed and unflashed now with a second kill. And now 3-player stand for the T's. This has been a B rush that hasn't amounted to too much just yet.
It wasn't the best buy for Team Hungary. They didn't have everything available to them, but the M4 has got into play early, and now more damage being done. Here comes Matties, though, fighting back for Enterprise.
Yeah, lovely stuff from Mattis to pull those back and claw their way back into the round. And it did start so well for Hungary on some weaker guns. They were able to put themselves in a round situation that looked like they were about to shut down the B site entirely. Problem is right now, Adias is on 1 HP. And so this could still go very easily in the favor of Hungary, but Fleeve, you've really got to land those. Luckily, both players still alive. And Aaron able to take down Adias. And now it's all on to Mattis. 1 versus 2. He's going to commit to the bomb plant. Fleeve does not just have a USB. In fact, he has an AWP to play with. As Aaron swings into the open, the FAMAS will bring Mattis to the ground. And 7 rounds to 6. Team Hungary will get that defuse through. And this is starting to heat up now, Hawker. This is starting to become a real close game, and we are loving this. We are having so many close games of Counter-Strike during the play-in of this event.
Yeah, you can see both teams are really fighting hard, as you would expect. A massively important tournament for both of these squads. Means we get a full gun round ahead of the last round here of the half. This is what we were seeing with the buy, though. Just the one M4 really in play, but they charged straight into it. And this is the first real round we've seen Enterprise go for one of these site commits early. Just unfortunate for them that they run into that one rifle. Enterprise decide back to the mid control.
Yeah, Mattis spotted that player diving up short, so they have to be aware of that early presence at the beginning of the round. But will he expect this boost? Now, he's not playing on top of the boxes. In fact, he plays in behind them. It's a little bit of a different angle, more covered off. Keeper and more difficult for the T's to spot out. I wonder if they'll be able to get a kill off of it because the connector currently smoked. Corey really wants to be able to pick this one up. Smoking towards window as Mingus will confirm that control and negate that issue for his teammates, and that smoking connector will fade, and alongside it, Corey jumps up on top of the boxes, gets his opening kill, and for the first time in a while, you know, Hungary with a comfortable opening. There's no issues here. There's no option to trade it out for Enterprise. We'll see how Hungary play the 5v4.
And with that man advantage, it's a scenario now where they don't have to risk taking any aggression, like we've seen from them in previous rounds where they push a ramp or they try and take control back. With that man advantage, it's much easier to just sit back and feel confident that your crossfires will be good enough. Fleeve wasn't fully ready for that player in ladder room, but thankfully able to get back to cover in time. 40 seconds remaining. The play has to come through soon, but with Fleeve winning a further fight, Enterprise are down and out of this round. They've got 30 seconds left to try and save this, and they'll try and do so over towards A, but they don't have much utility to make this play work.
Diaz trying to come out of Palace and will be spotted by the AWP of Aaron and taken out of play. At the end of this half, it will be an attempt into the 2v5 for the T side. Enterprise desperately trying to find a way into the round for an 8th round, but it's not likely to have come through, especially with Horsey going down. Mingus hits the deck. A flawless round for Team Hungary to get 8 at the half, as they will lead the way on this decider matchup. The winner of this affair heads in to the main event. The loser will have to try and compete tomorrow instead for their spot. Again, those teams have started to arrive in now. Hawk, it's getting exciting. We're getting closer to having some of those invited rosters, likes of Gambit, Big, Movistar Riders, and Tropic. Some off the back of fantastic major runs. It's going to be a great opportunity for the likes of these guys on your screen right now to try and show what they're worth in this tournament environment.
Is there any team you're especially excited to see out of our invited squads?
I mean, obviously Gambit is going to be one of them, but I think we look at some of the other rosters. I love how Entropic play when they went to LAN. I think they're a very exciting team to watch. You know, I think Hooch is also a very good part about that team. I really do like the charisma of Hooch. So, yeah, I'm excited to see those guys play. But here we are.
Elion was playing really well, too.
Oh, Elion's
definitely excited to see him. Excited to see this pistol round, though, because currently it's only Magnus on this A site. And he's got an entire team coming his way. Yeah, he's going to be standing backline triple. It should be good enough to peek out and at least have a shot at one, but unfortunately,
the shot will not land to the head, and so he is down. Bedito puts pressure onto the CT play. There's a common T-sided strategy where you just charge your way down with a jungle smoke and just push straight through. This smoke instead was for connector, and they take CT spawn, but 3 kills make it 4. Suddenly in for the CT side, and now with a kid on their back, in particular on Forsey, they have a shot at getting back into the site. Coolio, 1 versus 2 with a Glock as he peeks out for 1. He looks for the second, and he could take out Mattis. He could shut him down, and it's going to be a bone-cracking round if he can pick this one up. Mattis charges in, and the USP hunts him down. He's looking for the kit, but we can go back and watch the defuse as he is able to pull it through. Mattis securing this one. And that is a massive clutch in the pistol. That should have went the T-side's way. It looks so good for them.
It was nice seeing that plan in place from Team Hungary, because we pointed out on Ancient there were some rounds where the utility wasn't as ideal. In that scenario, they get the early kill onto the site. They have a well-placed flash into CT to gain further ground. And then it was the question of whether Team Hungary are happy to just sit back in CT and wait for the fights to come to them, or whether they want to go aggressive. And that run boost was certainly aggressive. They tried to fully control CT spawn. They ended up giving Enterprise the opportunities they needed to win some fights, come back into it with the bomb plant though, and with how close that round came, you better believe the T's are going to be forcing up here, and the buys are very similar into this round.
Oh, Corey getting chunked down. Here comes the play out coming through. It's going to be Fleeve with a headshot onto Mingus. Forsey through the smoke with the scout, able to take out Fleeve, and so Alive is there to pick up the follow-up. Man advantage in play here for Enterprise, but bomb plant is conceded, so now it is a retake strategy having to be employed, and Bedito has drawn it back again into the same position of a 3v3. Alive is always there, but he's not kicking this time. Forsey will reply with a scout, Aaron out, and now just Coolio trying to swing. The bomb's not planted for him, being stuck around the corner. Full 10 seconds on the defuse, and it's hard to stomach, but Coolio has to concede the round. It'll be the defuse for Enterprise, the force buy not really finding the success they wanted in terms of getting the round win. They do drop players though on the CT side and get another bomb plant Hawker. You gotta go for a force here, surely, right? You gotta try and just keep that CT economy low when you've done so much damage there.
They've taken a timeout to talk through whether that is the call they want to make. Again, we're seeing assertive push behind them, which is always what you want to see. I think for Hungary, they seem to have pinpointed that Mangus is oftentimes playing that A site alone early in rounds. But so far for Enterprise, the rotates have been surprisingly effective, especially the Alive in that round, doing a really solid job arriving on the rotate, getting some good impact frags. Indeed, that force buy has come through, and it is full rifles. Mostly Galils, but the Galil ain't too bad, ain't too shabby.
It's pretty good now, especially with the price. Certainly have that over the FAMAS all day long.
Yeah, it gives you the option for all these nades, and they've got a fair few pieces of utility.
Well, let's see if Hungary can mount a better attempt this time. They came close to it in the last round, but they want to take victory here. Enterprise. This would mean a massive dent to their economy and losing their chances at the start of this second half. To get a good start going. If they lose this round, their money is in the bin. Mid control. It's there for the T's in terms of getting top mid control and getting Aaron out of underpass. They have smoked lower at connector though. And Alive is going to drop back and play a more recessive position, so the T's do have mid. Also posturing outside of B right now with the majority of their players, 2 over that. And they're now joining with Bedito, who is still leaning over towards B. Potentially cut off connector, try and go in towards a B split. Seems like it could be a good call here.
It looks like Enterprise's setup is a bait and switch, but this molly is for Carve, so they won't be able to clear out Adias entirely, and he can just wait and potentially go huge here, but they cleared him.
Yeah, he will be cleared. Mattis able to get one from the CT side, which means more is needed out of him. He gets 2. Rotation from Alive, it's not good enough. He goes down. Forsey has been able to find one in the scout, and that's going to keep it even for now. As the bomb goes down for Fleeve, the fire tickles him barely on the way out of that plant situation. Again, Forsey has taken so much damage. He's down on 9 HP right now. Mingus has got to do the heavy lifting, and he will certainly do that. 1 kill for him, but he's down and out. And now a 1 versus 1, Scout versus AK. And 1 bullet from death are both players. If Forsey lands that chest shot with a Scout, that's going to be enough for the kill because Fleeve has taken damage. He's down to 55, and Forsey's trying to find him, and the time is ticking. He's got to move quickly now, and the AK will get it done. Hungary with another round, and it's close. but it will be theirs.
4K for Team Hungary's talisman, Fleeve, coming through again when his team need him most. He's been so important to their success so far throughout this event, throughout this series specifically. He has stepped up for his squad, and also a really good clear early to make sure that Adias doesn't go unchecked in that corner. You will see sometimes teams just running in and focusing on the angles on the site instead. But Adias didn't get to do anything from his position, and he was the player with high health. He was the player they were trying to set up there because his teammate Mattis was low in towards bench. So the entire idea of that setup was to set up that AK for success. That didn't happen, but we have got the gun round out and a fake A play, and look at the stack. This should be an easy round here for Team Hungary as they will likely waltz their way onto a wide open B-bomb site.
Corey's even having some fun. You know, he might get a couple of lower buy kills here. For the CTs, this is a round where they go for that gamble stack Hawker. They don't have money in the next round. If they're to lose everything here, it means they just have nothing going into the next.
Yeah, it should be a save at this point. Yeah, that's why you take that gamble stack, so you can keep those guns and have something to work with in the next.
And for Team Hungary, it's a clean round where 5 stay alive, starting to build cash themselves. So I just see what Hungary are able to do on that T side is now have a runway. It feels like they have a good bit of turf to start ramping this T side up, but they're losing players. They're trying to hunt down all the remaining weapons, but they're just giving away rifles. And now suddenly Enterprise have a real shot in the next round at doing something dirty. AK's on the ground. Oh, what a disaster. They've got AKs in this next one. And what was just going to be a couple of deagles, a little bit of upgraded pistol action alongside a scout has become 2 AK-47s. And for the CT side, this makes a lot of sense now to try and get something around this. They have a shot at picking this one up.
Yeah, that puts it in a position where this game hangs back in the balance, because not only do Enterprise have some good rifles to work with in this round, Team Hungary have no money remaining. They had to reinvest everything, and that is even with a couple of weaker weapons in play. And you can see Enterprise are trying to make the most of that. They're trying to pounce on this opportunity that's been given to them by almost fully investing. Both teams spending the majority of their money on this round. This could be a crucial swing round here at the start of this second half. Team Hungary don't have the losing bonus built up. They don't have money in the bank, but they have the early frag they were looking for.
And Corey is the front man through with the AK, but Adias, he was below car, but now changes his position with the MP9 below window. And that's allowed a kill alongside the rifle. It matters. They try to work in tandem, but the 2 Ts have found their way through. That rematted setup from the T side is now just 2 cut down in the numbers by Mingus. He butchers him into the ground. And now with a 2v2, the lower tier buy of Enterprise starts to come into play because they no longer have those AKs. It is a FAMAS and a Deagle now in play, but the positioning could be key because they've lost another. And Enterprise with 10 rounds, Hawker. That's exactly what we're talking about when we say they pick up those AKs. They have a real shot at winning the next round because of that decision made by Hungary to hunt him in the last.
That round could really break Team Hungary here. That makes a huge difference because look at this buy. You've got 2 AKs out on the Team Hungary side. The other players just with pistols. And Team Hungary call for the quick take in towards B because they got that early kill. But they didn't realize it was a 3B stack. They didn't realize there'd be 2 more players waiting for them. So they go ahead and give away further fights. Enterprise work well together to get those kills back. Fast aggression could be about to come through again. That molly has been smoked. They're going to go for this.
They're just going to run it straight in towards the B site, and you do often see lower tier buys work out here, and they're doing a lot of damage. But there's so many players here for the CT side, and it's going to be hard to cut through and make the space that you need. Luckily, Corey and Fleeve are trying to do that, but again, Adias is here. Eli's coming in for the B apartments flank around the backside. They have dealt with Adias. And so Alive may have a little bit more pressure on him to be successful on this flank. He spots the back of Corey, brings him down, and the follow-up kills start to come through. It's now just 1, and they find him at the back of the bench. Good recovery there for Enterprise here now at 11 rounds. Hawker, it's starting to look very rough for Team Hungary at this point.
Yeah, it looks like Team Hungary may be trying to play somewhat exploitatively here because Adias, the in-game leader for Enterprise, is playing B, and because he's generally a lower fragger for the team, they seem to be trying to just pinpoint pinpoint his position, but Enterprise are just consistently reinforcing that B site, oftentimes starting with 3 players either on the B site or close enough to it that they can react in time once that aggression comes through. And smoking that molly there from the Team Hungary side just gives away that early info that a B rush is likely coming through. It allows a faster rotate to come into place. Now Team Hungary have to go back down to pistols, and this recent string of rounds from Enterprise could be so crucial.
You know, we did that playstyle actually before against Envious in a qualifier. We just kept picking out Rodent, didn't we?
We tried to. We did try to.
We got like 4 kills. Didn't work. We got destroyed by Major, actually, in that game. Corey has got himself a kill with the T-sided Deagle. Try and get one more down into jungle. Oh, he's actually going to get that as well. Oh, this has opened up a chance for Hungary. Corey looks the wrong way, though. Not ready for Forcey to jump up on top, and the rest of the kills begin to come through. And now, really, you've got an option to go B, but we'll see how the rifle of Adias is able to hold on. He's got himself in a good spot, and that is a kill for him, no problem. Could even get away with a second here. I'll put his stats up a little bit as well, but Mattis will steal that away. Job done, though. Fantastic showing. In these rounds, you don't really want to lose too much. A couple of nice shots there from Corey, but not much you can do about those Deagle shots sometimes. The rest of the shots are clean, though, from the defensive side.
It is a bit of a moneymaker as they save with 3 players surviving at the end of the round. That is what the CTs were hoping would happen ahead of that one. Now they will have a true test on their hands. And even with some save guns, Enterprise haven't been able to build up too much cash, so the economy still hangs in the balance. The run boost didn't go according to plan there for Hungary, and so they take some damage from the nades in towards top mid. They do look set on trying to take this mid control early with a couple of players joining from underpass. Fairly standard start for Hungary. We'll see what they decide to do once they get this mid control, or whether it's even going to be given to them.
It's a nice slow round. Ooh, actually a bit of a timing there for Aaron to potentially have found a player up in towards ladder room. Nair down onto Coolio. It's taking a couple of health points. So while your Mattis peeks on the edge of the smoke is short. That's a nice piece of aggressive play on the CT side. There's no answer from it for the T side. They couldn't get that answer back through. It looks like they were leaning towards B again, Walker, but they're dropping those players back.
And at a good time, because Hungary is starting to go back towards A, but Aaron could be the point man they need right now. If he could get an early frag, he could absolutely open up this site. He may just look to cut off the rotation instead, though.
He's got himself a good spot, and Coolio goes down towards B. Diaz has done his job, just finding one. So Coolio out of play. Here comes Hungary's final attack in towards the A site. Mine gets in a good spot at Sandwich. Also has his teammate out towards default if needed. And Aaron realizes he can no longer just cut off rotations. He needs to start making a play. Fleeve, what a shot into the site. He needed to pick that up, but he hits an absolute blinder. And now it's a 2v2. Bomb plant trying to come through here, and it is locked in. And Fleeve just about gets it down. Final bullet through the smoke. Gets the shot. And now Aaron into the 1 versus 2 clutch.
It's not plied for him, though, so he has to play proactively on the ball. He has to search for the kill, and now he's brought it into the one-on-one.
Is Mattis versus Aaron up against it. Defuse starting to come in. Mattis knows he's playing from CT. Aaron's not peeking. Oh, how does he sit down? The ball is that big. Mattis with the defuse. Pulled through, and that is exactly the round needed.
I think Aaron was maybe hoping the bomb would just get planted on his side there, because they had that CT control with Aaron wrapping all the way back around. He played it well from jungle. He was just waiting for steps to be made. As soon as he heard that CT rotate, he got that kill in behind. He cleared out CT, but they decide to plant on the other side of triple. That makes the post plant more difficult to play from Aaron. He made the right decision there, searching for the first fight. He did well to get that initial kill, but this time the defuse gets stuck. Got to give credit to the player just sticking the bomb there. It never feels good to basically make yourself a sitting duck as you just stick that defuse. Realizing that is a great opportunity and one that they had to take. This could start to get frustrating now for Team Hungary too. They had The moment earlier where they lost those guns against that low buy, that swung the economy against them. Now another close round goes against them. It may just feel like it's slipping away from them slowly here.
Yeah, key decision making has gone the wrong way. If they're going to start turning the tides, they've got to do it now.
Look at Corey go.
Yeah,
so
super
aggressive.
quick. Straight up in towards Connector. He's going to dive back out of that smoke again. And elsewhere, Bedito goes down. So Team Hungary in a must-need round win. They've lost their early player. Enterprise hold the advantage now and the leave. Oh, he's going to be holding up towards the stairs. Corey walks right towards the A1S. Aaron swings through the ramparts and takes away the head of Mangus. And now the play continues to charge through. 4C. He wanted to try and fight towards ramp, but drops off the back of Ticket. With a minute and 5 seconds left, the CT side have got numbers in the right side of the map.
Slow down is called from Team Hungary, having lost these early trades. They realize they may be better served playing across the map, forcing Enterprise to think twice about this stack on towards the A-bomb site. Limited utility. Just a single molly remaining for Hungary. With 35 seconds remaining, they're starting to take mid control, but they have to get a move on here. It's going to have to be a clean site take as they're going to leave themselves with little time left on the clock.
You have to take down a Diaz first of all with that MP9. And then CT, the AWP, is currently waiting as well. Diaz is in a good tucked position just to cause some problems, buy some time, but now they hear that bomb is being planted on the other side. A triple, and Diaz will be able to pick up the frag. Coolio down as well, and just one remaining player is Fleeve, alone in a 1 versus 4. A lot to do here for Fleeve, and just really not the best situation to be in for him. He's going to try and go around Connector, but that defuse is being stuck again in the smoke. He's got into position, but Forzy with the shot straight down through Connector. Another retake for Enterprise. They just have the players alive. They're just making the better decisions right now. And like you said, with that limited time, they just have to be so quick at getting those frags, and there's not enough time to be meticulous and methodical.
And not even having utility at the end of the round, sadly, in the 3v4. You can't smoke to make the bomb plant easier. You can't molly out any of those positions. Enterprise basically allowed the bomb plant to happen because they knew if they just sat back, they would leave themselves in a good position. It's been a 5-round streak for Enterprise, taking over when it matters most, but they still have no money in the bank. So if Hungary can just win that 1 round, they could break the bank. They haven't cleared the corner, but they go back in time.
The Alive is down, and now the play from Matthews up from short, trying to pull it back, trying to get those impactful kills. Going in favor of the CTs, but Aaron again with some impact. The bomb has gone into an empty B site, and Forty's knifing the window. Finally gets down into the site and maybe gets involved in doing something in the round. Forcy's still here, and he's actually just made enough noise to keep them off the plant. They don't want to commit to it, and the AWP brought down the bomb. Things are getting rough as once again Team Hungary forget to plant the bomb. The bomb is down in the open, and this is making things difficult. They're hunting down the AWP. Fleeve with a shot out to the left side, and now it's an AWP right in front of him, but Forcy through the bench. Shot connects, damage done, and 15 locked in for Enterprise. They're 1 round away for the main event.
Another important round from Forcy. 23 kills for him now. Matty's actually top of the board with 27. But it's another round where Hungary had their chances. They did a really good job at outmaneuvering Enterprise at the start of that round. They get onto the B bomb site. Forcy had no clue what was coming, but I have no clue how Forcy survives for so long at the back of the bomb site. Hungary are going to feel hard done by here with how many rounds they've lost recently. They've come close. They've got bomb plants, sometimes not even planting the bomb and bringing clowns close, but they decide to commit to the A play with their tournament, well, their attempted tournament qualifier on the line.
And there we go. Fleeve has started with a kill for the T's, but before that, Mangus had found a pick. A much better site take coming in here from Hungary, and a much better chance at winning the round.
Bomb already planted. Coolio playing in towards Sandwich, and they've got a player wrapping all the way round towards mid. Fleeve will have a good chance to play for that bomb later on.
1 kill for Mattis. Benito down. Mattis comes in with a double, and Forcy brings Aaron out of the round. Fleeve now in a 1 versus 4. unwinnable situation for him. He does take a DS out of the round, but again, there's just so many players he's going to deal with. Smoke's got onto the defuse, and it is confirmed. We're going to be seeing Enterprise in the main event. They'll be joining the invited teams to compete for the prize pool of just under $400,000. So much on the line in this competition for these guys. It's one of the biggest situations they can find themselves in, and Enterprise, from playing in Tier 2 competitions online all year long, have got themselves into the main event of a big LAN tournament. It's a massive result for them, and unfortunately for Team Hungary, it won't be happening today.
And this is one of those games that I would say came down to composure more than anything else. In those late rounds, Team Hungary kept getting into pretty good positions. They kept finding themselves in rounds that were very winnable. It was just a consistent theme of rounds going against them where they were consistently making it competitive, but they needed just that slight edge, that slight killer instinct, which they couldn't find.
Yeah, just couldn't do it, Hawk. At least for your prediction, it was correct. For all of us, at least we're still loved by the Hungarians, so I guess everybody's a winner here. But we look at the performance out of Team Hungary, and it was clear, you know, they do play some good Counter-Strike most of the time, but some of the decision-making is just really what lacks right now for this side. A lot of the time, they don't plant the bomb. It feels like in chaotic situations, they start to lose track of what's happening. In those situations, in terms of balancing the economy game as well, they throw away unnecessary rifles, unnecessary kills, and that allows Enterprise back into the game. They're going to have to take a long look at those chaotic situations, and as a mixed roster, they're very difficult to fix as you go into a tournament like this.
Exactly. You could definitely see that Enterprise were the more together team here, and we pointed out some of those stats earlier, that the trade percentage for Enterprise was the highest from their best of one, whereas Hungary's was the lowest. Some of those factors definitely came into play towards the end there, and when you have to fall back on just that team play and having played together for a long time, that's where it makes a huge difference in some of those late round scenarios. Yeah,
and in particular, you know, there is a positive takeaway for the Hungarian side. You know, Fleeve is certainly still up there. I think Corey showed some impact as well. So Hungarians definitely have still a shot in this event. They're not completely out. They have a chance again to try and qualify for the main event. But we're going to bring up our wonderful desk and James Banks to talk about this result. And, you know, we're looking at the situation. Hawk is correct, but, you know, Hungary, that we're still loved by the people here. Hopefully they come up on screen eventually, and I'm just not talking to nobody at this point. Here we are.
There they are.
Hawk, I'm just going to say, you got some very angry Hungarian commentators waiting for you as well. They just literally told me to remind you that, like, you jinxed them, by being the only one to predict it across the entire broadcast. That you now got some words for him, maybe, because you don't want to get deported, mate. You've still got an event to do. You might need a new co-commentator.
I mean, Dinko's trying to come in and say that we're all winners here. I think I'm the only winner personally. That's what I'd say to all the Hungarian commentators. I'm digging it, James.
Oh, all right, we're going to send him back on the bus. Kassad's going to get us the tickets, and maybe we can actually put him under the bus and roll at the top of himself in here, because right now it's looking pretty rough.
Under there because of this prediction. I was expecting some sort of trash talk, but he's playing it cool, or he's just scared. It's one of those.
I knew it was happening the whole time. I knew what I was doing.
He's superior, right? He's like, oh, look at me, you know.
Yeah, well, here we can give him this one.
We need to get some B-roll footage of him interacting with Hungarian commentators after this, I think.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much, Dinko, and that other guy, because we don't care about his career anymore. It's done for after he's done this one. But now to Kassad, you know, it's kind of what you were saying, Kassad, right? They flopped it when it came to Ancient. It was there, as you say, like that momentum, obviously the hype that Enterprise could bring afterwards. It was quite a very decisive victory on Mirage as well, right? There was a small chance, I'd say, when we got up to the first half, and then afterwards, when we moved into the second half, it was very much Enterprise.
The thing is, like, the T side betrayed them once again, you know, and they didn't get anything going. I mean, they were able to get into the side. There were like a couple of close rounds, I guess, on the defuse thing, and then the guy just went for the defuse instantly, and a couple of more after that. But overall, I think the T side was just betrayed them, like they did against Fiend. CT side was relatively decent. They got 7 or 8 rounds, which was supposed to be enough, but at the end, they, like we talked about, they just got punished because of that second map and just not using the opportunities they had in that map.
Yeah, and also when it goes to a lot of close rounds, I mean, like there was a lot of situations that Team Hungary could have won. You could argue that maybe, you know, the sharpness we were talking about from Team Hungary's side wasn't there anymore in this third map, because they kept losing a lot of those situations. They were not being able to clutch and not able to deliver. And effectively the fact is that second map came and it's going to be haunting them, because it's not going to get any easier from here on out for them.
That's the thing, like you guys spoke about it. This was the golden ticket. This was like, here you go, get to the main event, an easier of the other opponents out there because of how the upsets went down on day one. and you just got so close. But I also feel like they maybe spent a lot of energy on the first couple of games, and we saw it kind of start to sway a little bit as well.
The thing is, like, if you ask them, like, before the tournament, is there any team that you want to play against for the spot in the main tournament, they would pick this one.
Sure.
And they got that one without asking, you know?
Yeah.
And they just blew it, you know? And tomorrow they have Fiend that's waiting for them. Bulgarians that I know, you know, and I know them for a long time, they will want revenge against these guys. And they will come in hyped. And they will want to beat them, like the personally they will have like a vendetta against them to beat them in their home country, you know, and just go on the main event. And I think they're a better team overall because of the experience and like more skilled players. And it's a best of 3, so you know.
And that's what I was going to say, right? When it comes actually to going up against Fiend, I was memeing and joking the fact that every time they were walking onto the stage, there was just no emotion, they didn't really care so much. When they come into that best of 3 tomorrow, knowing what it means to qualify as well, it's going to be a very different style of Fiend coming out.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget that Fiend is a top 20 team in the world, right now, according to HLTV ranking. So it's not going to be easy, as we can see here, the group situation. Having to face them as Team Hungary, it's going to be a different ball game. It was a best of 1 scenario last time around. Fiend, that was the first game they played with Ships. They probably haven't practiced too much with him before coming into this. Yes, of course, they know one another really, really well.
Yep.
But now they've managed to get some competition under their belt as a unit as well. They scraped through that game yesterday in the losers game. So it's going to be mega tough for Team Hungary to be competitive tomorrow.
Enterprise and Isuba are the 2 teams that top the group. You would pick those teams to be like the bottom of the group, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
normally.
they just topped it. They're the first teams that go into the event. They deserved it, 100%. You know,
Sure.
they played a best of 3 and a best of 1 game. They won both of those, and you know, respect to them in that manner. But
For sure.
tomorrow, it's not going to be easy for the Hungarian mix at all, because Bulgarians are just, like you said, they're top 20. They know how to play these LAN games, and you know, it's not going to be easy at all. They don't have the crowd, you know. If there was a crowd, like a Hungarian crowd, to help them out, it would maybe be a different story. But
what you're saying is we need all of production, all the staff here, just to stand in front of the booths and just be like, go in.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'll do it.
Of course you would, Kassan. Of course you would.
I did today, but it didn't work.
Well, we've got our games for tomorrow on the screen right now. It's going to be starting off at 1 p.m. CET. We're going to have Sinners taking on Onyx, and then we're going to end the day at 4:30 CET with Fiend taking on Team Hungary. So a couple of spicy games. The last 2 places for the play-in. Losers will be eliminated, and it's sad. They'll still get $4,300 to their name, but the other 2 will go forward and get to face off against some of the really solid teams. Now, I saw Gambit watching the games earlier. They were getting some food during the catering part, right? They're just looking at the teams, probably looking at this and thinking, okay, how much information can we take from this kind of style? Because Gambit's now for a long time, they play some of the lower down cups still, but they're very used to playing the very best.
There will be a time where we will talk about this Gambit, but when you mentioned it right now, like, they need to prove something here, right?
Sure.
They lost to Entropic on the major, right? Remember, in the best of 1, they are coming in as favorites right here, and you know, they have to win. This is their tournament, you know, to lose, right?
I actually want to ask you guys this, actually, because when I was looking at it, right, you would on paper just be like Gambit and Big being the 2 favourites of the invited teams in there. But I'm feeling like Entropic kind of on that second slot right now, you know?
For sure. I mean, for me, I'm sorry, Drawlin, but Big is still, I mean, I just have question mark with them. Ever since that change came with Santares going off and Gate coming in, you know, I'm still on the fence of thinking, like, how is this team going to mold together?
They changed the coach too.
Yeah, they changed the coach. That's a very good point.
Again, changed the coach. This is after the major, right?
Yeah, sure. They had Legia come in for the major, and now they have, who's coming? NKJ.
Yes.
He came in now.
Usually an analyst wasn't really in the coaching role, so he's going to kind of be adapting as well at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. And Entropic, I think, you know, they were, I've thought they were always very tough for, like, my team ends playing against them in a lot of those tier 2 tournaments. Like, I felt like they were, when we were playing against Entropic, I'm like, oh shit, now we're going to be playing them.
They're so annoying.
Not again.
Yeah.
They deserve top 8 at the major too.
Yeah.
They were top 2-0 and then lost 3 in a row against Vitality and Heroic, and I think one more I can remember, but Furia, in the last one.
Yeah.
So they're a dangerous team. They beat Gambit,
Yes.
the best of 1. So
I had
it's
them
not
through
gonna be-
going to the playoffs. Like, after I saw them in the first group stage, I had them through on my pick'ems onto the second part.
Well, how did that work out for you?
Well, obviously not very well. Still got my diamond coin though, but didn't get them as one of my picks.
Dangerous team.
Did you get a diamond coin?
I didn't play. I don't play that. For every major so far, I never played pick'ems.
Is this just because you want to be able to say, well, I would have got it all right, but you've got no proof
No,
of
it's
it
just that I'm
all right
lazy.
anyway?
It's just I'm lazy, and
Okay.
First couple of majors I forgot, and I didn't really care about it.
After that, it was like,
Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
out of this right now. What about you, Nasty?
Yeah, I got a
achieve
diamond
it?
coin, of course.
There we go. Sorry, because you're out of this one.
Easy pickings.
Well, let's close the show, boys. It's been another fantastic day, and much shorter day as well. We'll be well rested and ready for tomorrow's game. We'll be starting off the show around 12:30 CET with the desk, with a lot of fun, having a bit more of this relaxed style that we've got in here, seeing if our analysts in Hawker and Dweg will survive the night after making such wrong predictions, even though they got the prediction technically right for Hawker. It's not the right decision to make in this country, so you know, he has to pay the price for that. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
and I wanna hold so long. Is that your look? What's the hook? I can only say that this is so good. Is that your smile? Is that your style? Is that your legs wrapped around me tight? And I love you like no one ever loved anyone before. And I love you like no one ever loved anyone before. And I love you like no one ever loved anyone before. And I love you like no one ever loved anyone before. I know, yes I know.
The unique cultural heritage of the Visegrad Four and their 30-year collaboration enrich Europe. The past year and a half has produced unprecedented challenges, which we have faced by helping each other. Europe and the world are entering a new era, and the Visegrad countries are joining forces to shape the continent's future. Recharging Europe.
You are not my friends, you're my brothers, my friend.